How's it going, YouTube? You are listening to Behind the Wall, presented by Perky Jerky. As always, and for this whole season, I'm Kane Jr. 88, and obviously I'm joined by my esteemed co-counsel slash special friends,
You're my special friend.
Thermite 917 and Junior Nation 5788. And this weekend it was the grand finale for all three of NASCAR's National Series Ford Championship weekend down at Homestead Miami Speedway. The Ford EcoBoost 200, 300, and 400. So, pretty entertaining weekend to say the least. So, Tyler, give us a recap.
Thank you, Kane. I will certainly do so. The Ford 400 has concluded. Yeah, I'm calling it the Ford 400. I don't none of that EcoBoost shit. Martin Truex Jr. comes home as the race winner and subsequently the champion, followed by Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Kevin Harvick, and Chase Elliott, your top five. Rounding out the top 10, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Matt Kenseth, Denny Hamlin, and Ryan Newman. It was a rather dull race for the majority of it, especially the first two stages. Not a whole lot happened. It got started right away with a quick yellow for Joey Gase, absolutely knocked down the wall. That was on lap 6. But then it went green the rest of stage 1. Kyle Larson won it. Well, it went green for a little while on stage 2, and then there was an interesting wreck. Danica Patrick, making her final start in the number 10, decided to hit the wall one more time and get another DNF for the books. And along with that, she poor old Casey Kane, who was just, I don't know, not having so great of a day, and then he didn't really have anywhere to go. He had to slam on the brakes and just ran right in the back of her. Obviously, Danica was out for the race, and that hampered Casey's event. He ended up retiring later in the race just because of severe handling problems from that crash. And then stage 2 concluded. Yeah, and Kyle Larson won again, which was a surprise. We were all wondering at that point when he was going to blow up or crash, but, 2 stage wins right there. Checked off the box. But after that, a little bit of running order shuffling slightly, very slightly. He lost the lead, and then it basically was just like between Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. for the rest of the way. Not a whole lot happened for a while. There was a small incident with Kurt Busch, which was kind of weird why they threw the yellow for that, but they did, and it canceled out any potential strategy. Most people came in with about 70 or so to go, and they were going to split up the last run of the race. They were actually going to make 2 stops because tires were actually a thing this weekend, so that was nice to see. But Kyle Busch and just a few select others were going to try to make it on one stop, and that caution with Kurt Busch completely threw that all out the window, and that happened right after Martin Truex Jr. had gotten the lead back and Kyle had pitted. And then they all pitted again and ran it to the finish, and that's how it finished. Martin Truex Jr. held off Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch came with a late charge, and it looked like he was going to have something for him, but just couldn't get really to his bumper, and obviously couldn't get around him either. So Kyle Larson was also right there too, so it was a decently tense finish, I suppose. Kyle Larson actually led the most laps, 4 times 145 laps, and then there was only 3 other leaders on the day, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, and just Keselowski at a single lap. The race was pretty much what you've seen for the majority of the year, especially at mile and a half. No real surprises, to be honest with you, so we'll get right into race ratings. Nick, we haven't heard your voice yet. Oh, I want to hear your voice, so give me the race rating for yourself.
This weekend's tough because, like you said, the racing across the board for all 3 races wasn't that great, but the championship battles were. So I'm going to kind of split it down the middle and give it a 7. Yeah, that's about it. Kane?
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to give it a 7 as well. The racing itself was iffy at best, but the only thing that made the races interesting were, of course, the championship scenarios and the points battles that were happening on the track. The truck race was pretty much a runaway for Christopher Bell, but obviously the Xfinity race was a nail-biter, as was the Cup race when it came to determining the next champion. So, yeah, it's definitely going to get a 7 from me. Tyler?
Well, I'm going to stick strictly Cup race and just do how I've been doing all year long by analyzing the race itself. I'm giving it a 5, and it only gets a slight boost. It would have been about a 3, 3.5, maybe a 4. It gets a boost because it was a championship race, and that's just what it came down to, and I guess it was decently tense. So other than that, it just was super tough to pass. It was a runaway for most of it, and like I just got done mentioning, it really wasn't anything different than what you've seen all year long. So Just super glad this season's over, and we'll get into that shortly too, but it's a 5 for me for this race. All right, we're bringing back topics for this week, and well, it's pretty obvious the season has concluded, so we're going to just talk about our final thoughts on the 2017 Monster Energy Cup Series season. Maybe we'll even give a final season rating as a whole. So, Nick, what do you think? Why don't you start us off again? What were your generalized thoughts of this season?
I'm ready for the off season.
Right.
I mean, like, there were a few like really great moments. You had a lot of first-time winners like Ryan Blaney and Austin Dillon, and some great racing out there. But overall, I mean, there was a lot of predictability, and the cars still suck, and you just couldn't pass, and the Toyotas dominated, and I don't know. I just thought it could have been a lot better because, I mean, they started off with the lower downforce yet again, and it didn't really do a whole lot. So I think this year more than ever, it almost felt more like a chore to watch some of the races, and that's not a good thing when ratings are already declining and stuff like that. I still love the Truck Series. I think that had the best racing overall this year, and Xfinity was Xfinity, especially when the Cup guys were in the field. I'm glad they're changing that for next year, but there's not a whole lot to talk about in terms of just overall great racing and stuff like that. So if I had to give a rating, I mean, maybe like a 6. All right, Kane, what are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are pretty much about the same as yours. It's hard to describe this whole season. I mean, there was definitely a lot of good racing here and there. Like, obviously, the Martinsville races were easily the best racing of the year, in my opinion. I mean, the mile-and-a-half races, including Chicagoland, which Nick and I, of course, were at, were pretty predictable overall because Martin Truex Jr. won pretty much all of them. But yeah, and the Toyotas as a whole were the class of the field every goddamn week. That aside, though, I mean, from my unbiased opinion, there was some great moments, like the first-time winners, Blaney winning Pocono, Stenhouse at the plate tracks, Austin Dillon on fumes winning the 600, and obviously last week at Phoenix with Matt Kenseth getting his fond farewell. I wish Junior would have gotten that, but oh well, beggars can't be choosers. So, in my unbiased opinion, I'm actually going to give this rating for the season a 7. There was decent spots here and there, but overall it was pretty lackluster because most of the races were predictable from the drop of the green flag or maybe by the end of the first stage. Again, like Nick said, it felt like a chore almost to sit through these races, you know, watching Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch, the Toyotas dominate. And obviously, it was hard watching Junior and Chase Elliott get screwed over almost constantly. So, but that's just my bias coming through. So, anyways, Tyler, what did you think of this season?
Oh, I am so excited to be the last one to talk about it because boy, do I have an awful lot to say. And not a lot of it is good. I have sat back and I have just tried to be as non-biased as possible at times, and other times I'm just coming through like I'm an absolute fucking asshole because I just cannot stand some things. I'm perfectly fine with Martin Truex Jr. as the champion. I feel that it was deserved. Things like that I'm good with. However, looking at the season as a whole, repeating the things that you guys have already said, it was too dominated at times. There were some races that were absolutely atrocious to watch. And if I was a casual fan, I would have turned the damn TV off in a heartbeat. But that's the problem with not being a casual fan, is because you're stuck to it. And no matter how hard it is and how frustrated you are at times, you ultimately just, you push through. There was only one time this year where I actually legitimately turned off the TV for a portion of it, and that was the Indy race. Then shit hit the fan, and it was interesting to watch. Other than that, I suffered through every fucking lap of this miserable goddamn season. Now, not every moment was bad. The first-time winners were fun. There was a lot of moments in the lower series that were fun as well. And I feel like that's where most of my favorite moments come from, were in the lower series. And that's kind of ridiculous when the Cup Series is supposed to be the premier level, supposed to be the best, supposed to be the attraction for fans. It shouldn't necessarily be the lower series. But as always, it comes out as the Truck Series being my favorite series of all three. I wish I could watch more truck races. I'm pissed off there's only, whatever, 22 or 23 a year. And there's 36 fucking ridiculousness events. Not all of them are bad, but the cookie cutter goddamn 1.5 mile tracks are just getting so old. The dominance on them this year was through the roof. And this is one of the most predictable seasons that I think I have ever watched. It came down to most events with being Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, or Kyle Larson. And if you add all their wins together, I don't know that it comes to half. I'm not doing math at this moment. But still, they dominated 3/4, if not more, of the races that were on the schedule. And that's okay. That's fine for them and their teams, and you can attest to that as far as like, okay, yeah, they deserved it, and that's what you're out there to do, is to win and things like that. But just, I feel like I've never seen such a limited variety ever since I started watching. I know there were times in the late 90s and the 80s where people were kicking ass. There was a time where Jeff Gordon won 13 races. I'm glad I didn't have to watch that. But this is a different era, and I just, oh man, it just drives me nuts.
I don't want to use the comparison, but it was almost like F1.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't say it, and I'm glad that you did, because that's really what a lot of times felt like. The only difference in NASCAR is that there's a chance for other people to get, sneak out wins and in interesting ways. Like, Ryan Newman was never going to win a race on pace this year. He got some solid results and stuff like that, but he snuck that Phoenix win basically with just a little bit of luck. And kind of like Casey Kane, too. He had such a bad year. I felt so terrible for him all year long. And he got that one saving grace moment. He got that one opportunity and took advantage of it. And then there were some guys that just never got that chance. Junior being one of them, could not ever get himself in a position, which, whatever. That's not really my point. It's just that the lack of variety sucked. I just hate that. And the passing was not very good this year. They tried things with VHT, Tire Dragon, all that. Just whatever. Ridiculousness is what it kind of boils down to.
Stages.
Stages as well. They tried that. Most stages were super dull. To me, 1 of every 10 stages had a good finish or had some decent racing in. And I'm specifically talking about the first and second stage, because those are the ones you get the bonus points and stuff like that. It just felt like such filler footage. It was like a bad movie almost, like where they just couldn't get to the point quick enough. So for this entire season, I give it a 4.5. It's kind of funny because our race ratings were very close for pretty much every single race this year. And the funniest thing is we all, it differs. Like for me, I'm 1.5 lower than you, Nick, and 2.5 points lower than you, Kane. I just can't sit back and give it a positive rating. I can't even give it a down the middle mediocre rating. It's just, God damn it. This season.
Yeah.
I just hope for better things next year. That is my last thing to say.
Yeah, I'm glad you said some of those things, because I agree. I just couldn't think of him on the spot. But obviously, I think me and Kane tried to look more at the positives, and you told it more like it is. So we just kind of balanced each other out pretty well. So let's move on.
Yes, sir. Well, the trucks raced in Homestead this weekend, and you know damn well what that means. For the final time, where did Cody Coughlin finish? Oh, big old meatball. Turkey sub. Old salamander salmon. I don't even know why I said that. Did he finish 14th? A standard Cody Coughlin-like result after starting the race in 16th, and he finished 1 lap down. And Cody, for the year, he finishes 13th in driver points. How fitting. Come on. That's just perfect right there. 13 for number 13. So let's see what he had to say. It wasn't the night we wanted, but we battled all night long and finished higher than we ran. I appreciate my guys for fighting for me all night long and all season long. I appreciate Duke and Rhonda Thorson for letting me drive their trucks this season. It's been a great experience. Oh, why am I not surprised that you think Duke and Rhonda Thorson and how you guys outperformed yourselves and how it was such a great experience, Cody? Oh, you're hilarious, you son of a bitch. You shouldn't be in that ride. Oh, still love you though, you fucker. Jags!
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 Hip hip or Jags! Oh, that felt great, guys, didn't it? What did you guys think of Cody Coughlin season, huh?
It was a very Cody Coughlin-like season.
I think it was a very Cody Coughlin-like season. Kane, was it a Cody Coughlin-like season?
It absolutely was. I
Very
mean,
good.
except for the third place at Phoenix and the sixth at Las Vegas and the eighth at Pocono. But yeah, only 3
True.
top 10s on the year and 1 top 5. Who would have thought?
I know. So
Yeah.
those were, and again, we cannot forget the miracles of those races. They were absolutely unbelievable, and the jag celebrations were through the roof. We had cake. Cody ate 3/4 of it, and it was just a great time. Obviously we cannot forget his average finish of the year, 15th. Considering only like 22 trucks actually race and the other 10 start and park. So, Cody, he was right there all year long, and I'm sure he'll have more great things in 2018. Oh, one final. Jags!
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 Very good. And for the final time this year, we have some awards to hand out for the Homestead Race Weekend. And starting off with the classic boner of the week, we have one final one. Nick, who is the boner?
Oh yeah, one final boner, and that goes to Jimmy Johnson, who had a very un-Jimmy Johnson-like season. Especially at Homestead, he hit the wall a couple times, cut a tire, had to pit. I don't even know where he finished, but it couldn't have been good.
27th.
Yeah, 27th. That's just not good. It's not Jimmy Johnson like. He's got to pick it up next year if he wants to be old 8-time. But it was not meant to be this season. Next award.
The next award is also something we've handed out quite a bit this year. That is Park the Shitbox. And that goes to Joey Case and BK Racing. Well, this award isn't really for like, wow, they stayed on track and they should have parked it. It was more like just park it, like, and they did. I'm proud actually. This is more of like a nice proud award to give because they knew their role. They slammed the wall and they put it behind the wall. Initially they're like, oh yeah, let's go ahead and make it to pit road. Yeah, good luck with that. Are you even gonna make it to pit road? I mean, he did, but he hit that son of a bitch hard, and I'm just happy that they parked the shitbox because that could have been a potential another caution that we didn't need to see. So, good job, guys. You parked it. I'm sure you're going to park it a lot next year, too. Next award.
All right, the next award is For Old Time's Sake. And it goes to Danica Patrick, who in her final race as a full-time NASCAR Cup Series driver, she cut a tire and wrecked. Yes, it was a heartbreaker, obviously. I mean, Friday she was bawling her eyes out in the media center, and then today she just cut a tire, hit the wall, and then poor old Casey Kane, who was also in his last race for Hendrick Motorsports, as well as the last race for the number 5 car at Hendrick, ran right into her, had nowhere to go, got in the loose stuff, just drilled her in the rear end. And then Danica's car burst into flames. She tried driving it back to pit road, and then she had to get out, and then she was all like, how do you think you're going to... And then the media asked her, well, how are you going to do at Daytona? And she's like, well, I don't want to wind up in the medical center. Well, unfortunately, I have news for you, my dear. You are going to wind up in the medical center because it's Daytona, and you're more than likely going to get wrecked. So sorry your full-time career had to end like this. Next award.
Next award is Thank God! And that goes to Ray Black Jr. Because it was Ray Black Jr. And when he's in the field, he's going to cause a caution by spinning and not hitting anything. Well, this time, he somehow kept all 4 wheels under himself, and he didn't do anything. I didn't even remember him being in the race, so that's a good thing. Because you know how these lap cars can be with interfering with the championship. Cole Witt.
Again, race leader is Cole Witt in the 14. Elliott Sadler on the inside running second. He spun the tires. Elliott Sadler goes by right when they get to the start-finish line. Here comes the 19.
Take that, you freaky piece of shit! You don't mow another guy's lawn! All right.
It worked out. It was a nice, straightforward race, and Ray Black was there, but he wasn't there.
I got to jump in there. Do you want to know why Ray Black wasn't there? Because he got parked on lap 49 for being too slow. So
Oh my
that's
God.
on par. That's on par for Rick Ware Racing.
Oh,
Thank you, NASCAR. Thank you so much.
Thank God.
Thank God. Next award, Tyler.
Thank you, Nick. And that's, hey, you finished! After a month from hell driving blue cars, Kyle Larson actually finished this one, and he finished in 3rd place after winning first 2 stages. So, yeah, he finished, and, you know, Chad Johnson didn't have to be a prick, or he probably still was, but because that's just Chad Johnson. We're gonna get that bitch. And you went out there and you got that top 3. But, bitch! Bitch! I just can't believe it. I mean, he finished with a blue car. Oh my God. Next award.
And we have a few cigars to hand out, and the first one goes to Chase Briscoe, who got his first career Truck Series win on Friday, driving that 29 Brad Keselowski racing truck. Obviously, they're shutting down, so what better way to end it? I think it was like his 23rd start, and he had a lot of runner-ups this season, just missed the playoffs. He got screwed over. He should have been there. And if he was, maybe the championship would have been different. So good job for those guys. Not sure exactly where everyone's going to end up next year, but hopefully it's in a good ride because they deserve it. Next cigar.
All right, our next cigar, it's a very brief one. It goes to the Xfinity Series field, which had 44 entries. Unfortunately, 4 of them did not make the field, but still, when was the last time we had a DNQ? I don't remember. But anyways, moving on, speaking of the Xfinity Series, our next cigar award goes to Cole Custer, who earned his first career win in dominating fashion after coming up just short of making the championship round at Homestead to Daniel Hemrick at Phoenix. Cole Custer started in the front row, and from the onset just dominated the race. He won the first stage, the second stage, and completely delivered an ass-kicking to the field.
That ass-kicking we talked about! Ross!
Yeah, that was that ass-kicking that we talked about, and it was delivered by Cold Custard. And Tony Stewart on his post-race Periscope, he's like, you know, we actually took a rookie team with a rookie driver and a rookie crew chief, and we absolutely kicked ass out there, and I couldn't be any happier for them. So, way to go, Cole. At least that's what I think he said. Anyways, next cigar.
Thank you, Kane. The next cigar and final cigar for the season goes to Martin Truex Jr. Really no surprise. He won the championship, won the race. Everybody totally forgot he won the race, you know. That's usually what happens when you win the championship and you win the race at the same time. He's like, oh, yeah, you won the championship. Oh, who gives a shit about the race? But he did a great job. He did a great job all year long. And he withstood the pressure, got the lead at the right time, held on to it, didn't make any mistakes. He might have not had the fastest car, but he did exactly what he needed to do. And, you know, great job it's the entire team, really. They all get cigars. They were on it this year. And Furniture Row Racing, I remember when they were just a little team trying to struggle to make the show with Kenny Wallace and Joe Nemechek, and now they've won a championship. It's unreal. It really is a great feel-good story, and anybody who else feels otherwise, yes, they got to you and to JGR. Still, again, remember what this team came from, remember what Martin Truex Jr. came from, so shut the fuck up. Thank you very much, and if you choose not to, fall down a well, that's fine too. Either way, shut up. That's my point. I had to say that. I'm so sick of people acting that way. And now, we're going to get into our personal favorite part of the show. I think we have a straitjacket to hand out, and maybe something else too. Kane, fill us in.
Yes, we do. We have a double award to hand out this week. First, we got a
Straitjacket Award!
And it goes to two of the most popular people in the NASCAR Xfinity Garage, Elliott Sadler and his spotter and the co-host of Door Bumper Clear on Dirty Mo Radio, Brett Griffin. Oh my God, did you hear what these two were complaining about after the Xfinity race? I mean, first of all, Elliott Sadler was racing William Byron for position and the championship lead while, Cole Custer was busy kicking everybody's ass. They came upon the third-place car of Ryan Preece, who, of course, is racing for a job as well as the owner's title for the 18 for Joe Gibbs Racing. Anyways, Sadler came up on Preece. Byron had passed him already, but Preece held his line, gave Sadler the bottom, but Sadler wanted to remain up top. And what does he do? He knocks Preece sideways and ends up screwing himself over instead of Preece. So, yeah, I don't know what the hell Sadler was thinking. He ended up cutting a tire, taking himself completely out of contention for the Xfinity Championship, finished 8th. And afterwards, he stopped on pit road, and he had to be separated from that by the NASCAR officials because he wanted to go and beat the shit out of Ryan Preece.
Well, he cost us a championship. I mean, he's not even racing anybody. Was holding us down, and the 9 would have never got to us for that. So if you're going to race people like that in this sport, you're not going to make it very far. You got to have respect. Yeah, we got to leave fair and square and passed and all that, and then I didn't know lap cars or somebody not even racing for anything was going to race us that hard, and they let the 9 come back to us, and it cost us a championship. I don't know any other way to look at it.
Sadler, you must be freaking crazy! I get you're upset that you lost the championship, but to blame it on Ryan Preece, a guy who was racing you hard? I mean, he wasn't even a lap down. He was for position. And besides, you're both race car drivers. You're supposed to race each other. And then, if that's not bad enough, Brett Griffin goes on Twitter afterwards and says, well, we weren't racing Ryan Preece for anything, one position. The 22 was gone. Y'all come with hypothetical BS all you want, but he interfered in our race for the championship, period. Oh, Brett! Oh my God! Ryan Preece is so mean for actually racing? How awful! In addition to the straight jacket, you know what else you get? That's right, you get the crying towel! Oh my God. Oh, I love listening to you on Door Bumper Clear, but God damn it, I lost respect for you this weekend. Oh, I feel so bad for TJ Majors. He's got to deal with your BS tomorrow during the podcast. And Elliot, you're one of the most popular drivers in Xfinity. You're going to ruin your rep by saying stuff like that on TV. Oh my God. Yep, so with that being said, you guys get the Crying Jacket Award. It's the combination of the crying towel and the straight jacket because you guys must be freaking crazy, you big crybabies. 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 Cry baby, cry baby Elliot, cry baby Brick Griffin. Get your Brick Griffin. Get your Brick Griffin.
Oh, seriously, Kane, you nailed it once again. These guys, I mean, that's the first ever crying jacket we've handed out, and it is so well deserved. I can't say anything else. Nick Kane, you nailed it. So
Yeah.
Enjoy it, you bunch of crybabies. But now to end it on a more softer note, we can't forget old Kyle Busch. Oh, Kyle. Oh, you don't get a full crying towel. Okay, I'll turn it down. You still get a crying bib. You get your bib. Get your bib, Kyle. Wipe up your little Gerber applesauce. Because you were salty after the Cup race. And for kind of a reason similar to Elliott Sadler and Brett Griffin with the whole Ryan Preece thing. You were mad because Joey Logano slightly held you up, and you were also a little pissed off about, just not being good enough and this and that. Just, you couldn't be semi-decent about it. So, yeah, not the worst I've ever seen from you, Kyle. But again, here's your bib. Dab those tears. See you next year. Or hopefully not. I really don't want to see you.
Bitch!
But, yeah, bitch. Bitch!
Salty Snicker, son of a bitch!
Yes.
He was hangry.
He was
angry.
You're not yourself when you're hangry. Get your hangry.
Can't tell what he was more high on, hangry Snickers or sour Skittles.
That's
good. And for the final time of the year, it's time to take a look at the best paint schemes of the week, and it's a pretty predictable one this time, so enjoy the montage.
Oh, Dale and Matt, damn you two! Oh, why must you guys do this? You're evoking our emotions again!
Oh my God! It feels like it was just yesterday when you two joined the sport! God!
I don't know who to root for next year.
Liar, you already have your drivers planned out. Well, Nick
Okay,
doesn't
maybe
because
I
he's a
do.
bandwagoner.
Yeah.
Brandon Jones.
Keep your eye on that boy. Dickhead.
All right, now it's time to recap the fantasy picks from Homestead. And Damani comes out swinging with the fantasy win and captures the fantasy title after picking Kyle Larson for the race and Kevin Harvick as his champion. He got 54 points for Kyle Larson, since Kyle Larson finished the race in third and won both stages. I come home in second after picking Chase Elliott for the race and Martin Truex Jr. as the champion. Chase Elliott finished in fifth. And Martin Truex Jr. obviously won the race and got me 10 bonus points, but that's totally irrelevant because I was out before today anyways. So Nick, who was the points leader coming in with his safe pick of Denny Hamlin. Oh, I'm sorry to laugh, but it's just true. You said it last week. You said he was safe.
There was nothing I could do
ninth.
with Damani picking Larson. Like, I was totally screwed.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, Larson, it was a slippery slope, even though it was Homestead. I felt like it was an iffy pick, but it worked out for him, you know, because that's just Damani's fashion. It always works out for Damani.
Yeah.
And Denny finished ninth, getting him 32 points, and Kane came with this random thrown out there pick of Dale Jr. just to pick him. You know, that's probably what cut his tire in the last 10 laps. So thanks a lot for that, Kane. Jr. finished 25th and got him 12 points, but he was out of it anyways. So. Let's take a look at the final point standings for the year. It was a lot of fun in fantasy, and Damani, as I said, comes home as the winner with 1,452 points. Nick comes home just shy by 12 points at 1,440. I finished third with 1,386, 66 behind Damani. And poor old Kane rounding out the rear with 1,285 points. 167 off by the end. Ouch. Kane had a bad chase. But yes, we celebrate Damani as our first and potentially only fantasy champion. So congrats to him, even though he is not here to accept the award. Whatever, we'll hand it to him in spirit. So congratulations, Damani.
Yeah, congratulations, Damani.
Kane has nothing to say. He does not want to congratulate Damani. So.
Congratulations, Damani.
And all right, it's time for our picks for dates. Oh, what the hell am I kidding? Why would we pick them now? I'm joking. It just was habit, and I'm sad.
That's funny. I see what you did there.
I didn't do it for LOLs. I did it because I'm sad. Damn it. Sad. No more fantasy sounds. We can't do them anymore.
I know.
Oh, man. But it was a great season of fantasy. We had a ton of fun doing them, and obviously the segments with random-ass sounds thrown in. It was a lot of fun, and we'll see what the future holds for that. All right, well, that wraps up the final Behind the Wall episode for the NASCAR season. We have had a lot of fun. We've come a long way. Kane, Nick, you guys, we've all made this happen. I couldn't be more proud of the improvements we've made. Everything like that from our very first episode, which was filled with too many ums and was not edited as good as it could have been. But we improved from nearly an hour episode to having just over half-hour episodes. This one will be a little longer, obviously, with it being the finale. But we've come a long way, guys. What do you think?
It was a lot of fun. I mean, it was fun to edit. Well, it wasn't fun to edit, but it was rewarding once we saw the finished result. And, you know, I know no one's going to see it, but we liked it, and that's what matters.
Absolutely, and that's I really can't say it much better. It is a shame. I really wish we had more people told us how they felt, and or gave it some feedback, or just listened for any more than a damn minute, and other than just seeing it on my channel and go, oh, let me click, and then click off of it. I'm sure that's what happens. So, and that's okay. I mean, you don't have to listen. I don't really give a damn. We do this for fun. This is just a great thing for us to do. We have an awesome time handing out stupid awards, some serious, some not, all sorts of stuff. We get to do it our way, and it made the season a lot more enjoyable. So again, as I said, great job, everybody. Even you, Kane. I love you, you son of a bitch.
Oh, I said I wasn't gonna get emotional.
Oh no, damn it!
Oh God!
And I guess while we're at it, we don't know if we're going to continue this next year. We still do have a few more episodes that we have planned out, as well as we are announcing our awards show. So yes, we are going to have our own Behind the Wall awards, giving a variety of awards throughout the season, all sorts of stuff, and we're going to release it before the actual banquet. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Cannot wait to record that, and a lot of deserving awards to hand out there. As far as that, a few additional episodes planned. We will do a couple more trivias. That'll be fun whenever Kane decides to get up off his ass and make some trivia questions. And we actually have two more. We've had a trivia recorded for a long time, but again, Ass Dragger Nick with his ass dragging. Thank you, Nick. All right, for Damani HD, we appreciate his few guest appearances throughout the season, and we hope to hear more from him soon. For Kane Jr. 88, a lot of crying towels. He did a hell of a job this year. I'm proud of him, and for all of his innovations and Kane sounds and screwing up and holy cow. And for Thermite 917, oh man, this guy. What can I say about this guy? Nothing. That's what I can say. Oh, Thermite, you did a great job all year long. Thank you for doing your part in the editing and for all the slides, a lot of hilarious slides. That made it a lot of fun. And you do a great job with editing, and just to really, I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you too.
Proud of you.
Damn it, don't get me emotional now.
I didn't see that coming, to be honest. It just happened.
It just happened.
It just happened.
There's nothing I can do about it.
No.
Oh, man. And for myself, Generation 5788, a very unhappy fan. I'll leave it at that. But I had fun this year, too. So, this has been Behind the Wall, presented by Perky Jerky. You've been Behind the Wall, and thank you for listening. Fuck this season.
So, yeah, Thermite, give us a recap.
Oh my fucking god.
What?
You had one job. I'm the one doing the recap.
Oh, fuck me.
So replay the part of you saying so, and then me. It's me. who's
Okay.
doing
What is up, YouTube?
the recap. What is that, you two? All right, time for fantasy.
So Tyler, who are you picking for Bristol?
I'm picking Brad Kozlowski because Damani didn't pick.
Well, he had a good car back in
wanna-
June, so.
I just like to really thank Duke and Ronda Thorson for this opportunity to race at Daytona.
I'd just like to thank Duke and Ronda Thorson for this hot seat offer.
Oh, of course, that's Kane fitting, so we do it for now.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. The truck's race? God damn it, Nick. Thank you for that. Oh, damn. You gotta have one interruption, at least. I mean, that's just on par for the Behind the Wall season.
I know.
Normally it's Kane, so I expected Kane to jump in
Well,
there.
I was going to say nothing,
And
but
you did really well.
I was going to say nothing, but it sounded like you were leaving it open for someone else to say something.
No,
So.
no, I was just. It was my voice lesson, damn it.
Yeah.
Hope he's not gonna need voice lessons for his.
I think he will. That was beautiful.
I know.
But
I wasn't gonna get emotional.
Gonna get emotional. Yes.
We're gonna be saying that a lot this podcast, in this episode. It's always gonna get emotional.
Go to you, big meatball.
You big meat baby.
Big
Meat, baby. Aren't they all made of meat?
I guess.
Oh my god. Thanks, Kane. Thanks for that image. I just picture a big baby with like steak meat or something. I don't fucking know. Baby steak, steak baby, donate.
I don't even know where you finished, but it couldn't have been good.
27th.
What?
27th.
You finished 27th. I mean, that's just that's. Hold on.
Well, I have bad news for you, my dear. I'm afraid you're probably going to wind up in the media center, or not media, the medical center. It's Daytona. Yes, I fucking screwed up. But Danica, seriously.
Just do it again. Just do it again. We're fucking laughing here. At least you finished. Next award.
Oh yeah.
Good one.
I was staring at it and I'm like, wait, that's me. All right, hold on. Gotta get ready.
No!
Wait, I wasn't even recording. You didn't say when you were going to start it. All right, go. Oh yeah, it was so fun to do. We've bonded. We've done a lot of stuff. Wait, where am I going with that?
I don't know. I mean, it's a certain. I mean, we didn't have sex or anything, Nick. So calm down.
we had intercourse a little earlier, but that. But what
Not
was
that kind of intercourse, I'm sure, right?
I don't know.
Well,
you were watching through the window, so you tell me. Along with Kimmy. But yeah, you suck at Pocono.
There's a lot of things you suck at that I'm not gonna say right now because we need to wrap this up. But thank you. But oh man,
you suck at fantasy championships.
That's okay. I mean, I tried hard and I didn't. At least I didn't choke. So
hey, you know, yeah. Damani just did better. It's not like I had a 100-point lead and lost it. You know, I was a regular season champion again, and I'm proud of it. And yeah,
I bet you are.
Obviously, I mean, overall, obviously, we're obviously, and obviously,
oh man, that's tough.
And obviously, that aside, though.
Shut the hell up. Now you will go to sleep, or I will put you to sleep.
Yeah, jackass.